Hello, my name is Corbin, for the people who didn't know, and I'm so blessed to be up here tonight to talk about my testimony and what it might mean for you guys. The main goal of my testimony isn't to share my story, but to highlight what God can do for a person who doesn't even put Jesus at the center of his life. One thing I'm going to do tonight is be brutally honest, and that starts with the difference between pleasing God and pleasing others. Now, a few years back when I was late middle school, early junior high, I had a massive problem. I cared too much about what people thought of me and how they perceived me and wanting people to like me, instead of pursuing God and a loving relationship in him. When I pushed Jesus out of the center of my life, everything fell apart. The side effects for living for people instead of Christ can drag you down fast. When I would constantly care about other people's opinions of me more than what Jesus says about me, I was at my lowest. I was lonely, depressed, and fearful of my future. And this was all because I was willing to put people before God. And this went on for years. For years, it would look like I had things all figured out on the outside. It looked like I had everything put together. I had friends, always had a smile on my face, and everyone seemed to like me. But those were the most lonely years of my life. I got to the point where I thought about ending my life. I cared so much about what people thought of me, it drove me to think about hurting myself. I believed the lie that people's opinion was worth more than having a loving relationship with God and spending time with him every day through scripture, prayer, and most importantly, service with church and showing up Sunday night and Sunday morning, Wednesday night and Sunday morning. Putting worldly things before God doesn't just strip you of what it means to be a servant of God. When you replace Jesus with worldly possessions, the world begins to drain you. The world can never heal you. I wish I could tell you it all just changed overnight. One prayer, one Sunday morning service, one worship session just helped, and it all went away. But I'd be telling you a massive lie. Jesus didn't instantly remove my pain. Over years and months, he walked me through it. It took breakdown after breakdown for me to realize that I was the source of my own suffering. That no matter what I did, nothing helped. No amount of pride, anger, temporary happiness, or anything worldly could help. But through scripture, through prayer, through people Jesus had put in my life, that I'd seen the love and that I still had purpose. It took a culmination of years for me to understand where I fell short. When I finally started to make Jesus a priority in mind, my heart started to change. I wasn't angry, I wasn't prideful, I wasn't hurting other people. And most importantly of all, I started to value myself because I realized Jesus valued me first. God showed me what my life would look like without him, full of emptiness, depression, and sadness. Trying for the rest of the time to fill a God-sized hole with things of this world. But now he's showing me what it looks like to continue to put God first, full of peace, purpose, and hope. God has given me two paths to choose from. He showed me life when I was actively not pursuing him, and what it is like to run to the Father. As time went on, I started to see the fruits of having a relationship with God. Now remember, the suffering was my fault, no one else's. So it wasn't a surprise when Jesus didn't just pull me from the darkness, but he taught me how to live in his light. Now when I make time for Jesus, I feel real joy. Not worldly joy where it just fades away, but joy that is rooted in God's presence. He's granted me peace that makes zero sense even when life gets stressful or uncertain. He surrounded me with friends who love Jesus and remind me who I am when I start to forget. I would be untruthful if I said I'm completely cured of this disease. I am not. I still struggle with it every day. I struggle with the fact that I want to impress people more than I want to have a loving relationship with God. But these thoughts of comparisons of people and opinions don't control me anymore. Jesus helps me to point these lies out and gives me the truth instead. Galatians 5 talks about the fruit of the Spirit, which is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. When I see these fruits, I know it's not just because of anything I've done, what Jesus has done for me. I still stumble. I often care too much about what other people think of me. But now when I fall, I run to Jesus, because he's the one who carries me. I want what God did to me to show all you guys that no matter what you go through, and no matter how much you care about this world and worldly possessions, God can always change your heart and always walk through your pain. Thank you.